Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Rewilded Wellness Podcast. And happy Leo season. Oh gosh, we are in the heart of summer. And we just had a pretty amazing new moon the other day. I don't know if you all celebrate that kind of thing, but it has become something that I've created a ritual around for the last several years. And somehow lately, I've been timing the new and full moons with my trips to the spring where I collect my wild water, which feels, I don't know, very delicious to be doing it in that timing. And I just realized I've been collecting the wild water for the last 3 full years. And this particular trip, I decided to take an offering with me, something that I don't remember to do every time. And so we brought a rosemary sprig, a blue jay feather, some rocks from my property, some fresh picked calendula that morning, which felt so appropriate for Leo season, and a sprig of sweet Annie, which is an amazing plant that I hope to talk to you guys about more in the future. And there's just something really profound about approaching the land this way with symbology, with reverence, right? Like the ancients, our ancestors, like long ago, people would have understood this relational way of connecting with the earth versus our modern approach of just taking whatever we want from the earth with often little to no respect. And there's also something about water that we've turned into a checklist, right, in the health space. Get the right filter, drink enough ounces, check the box. Da, 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 da. But when you actually go to a spring to collect your water, it becomes a relationship, right? A connection, an experience. You taste how the water changes with the seasons, how the structure even differs based on, the temperature and the rain, something that you could never replicate with a home system, right? And there's also this joy of being able to stand in that water barefoot, collecting it. There's kind of like, I feel like it's like a cleansing, right? That's just I just feel, and it's so cold and so refreshing. Um, and it's just this cleansing that happens, and it goes way beyond just like the quality of your water that you're supposed to drink and this like basic understanding of hydration, right? You're receiving this extra element of seasonality, of connection. It's just really glorious. And this whole experience got me thinking about something that came up when I was interviewed this past week by Amanda Panacea from the Healer Revolution podcast. We had a great conversation, and that should air sometime in September, I believe. And she asked me about all the minerals and fascia content that I've been posting lately on Instagram. And I ended up telling her this story. Okay. So just this past week, I was preparing for a massage. Now, I was trying to be strategic. I didn't want to drink too much beforehand so that I wouldn't need to interrupt the session. So intuitively, I just decided to take some Cuprum Metallica. Cuprum Metallicum. Metallica is a band, right? Oops. And I did this because, I was thinking I'm going to support my connective tissue and help my body be ready to receive. Now, copper is inherently feminine. It's the metal of Venus. It's all about receptivity and flow. And the homeopathic Cuprum Metallicum is known for muscle cramps. But what's really happening energetically is it's teaching your fascia, your connective tissue, how to soften and receive rather than contract and resist. Okay, so fascia is literally our body's web of connection, right? It's what holds everything together and allows for graceful movement. And when it's healthy, it's supple and responsive. And when it's compromise, we get that rigid, maybe cramped up feeling, tightness, right? And copper is essential for collagen and elastin formation, right? And those are the building blocks of healthy connective tissue. So, by taking the energetic imprint of copper, I was essentially preparing my entire fascial network to be in a state of, Venus like receptivity for the healing touch I was about to receive. Um, Another thing Amanda and I chatted about during the podcast recording was how even in the mineral balancing space, because she also practices, she's a holistic practitioner. She uses HTMA as well. Um, and we kind of got into how there's like a default still hanging out in that space in this body of work, with these like really intense forcing type of protocols, right? In a time when everyone just seems to be so sensitive, right? So when you step back and you look at it, we have created this massive healthcare infrastructure that's become rigidly masculine, right? All force, structure, protocols, without the balancing feminine principles of intuition, receptivity, and gentle flow. It's like we've forgotten that healing happens in relationship, in safety, in that space where someone feels so held that they can finally soften enough to let the real work happen. Instead, we've got this push through it, force it out, detox harder. It's like a mentality, right? And honestly, it is exhausting people. And I've been feeling this shift in my own work for many years. Um, and something I've noticed is I have in my birth chart, I have my Cancer placement. So Cancer is the divine mother, or the, whatever you want to call it, right? In the astrology, it's like the archetype of the mother. So it's the nurturing placement that we all have somewhere in our charts. And for me, I have Saturn in Cancer and my part of fortune both in the seventh house, which is the house of close relationships, close connections, intimate relationships, one-on-one relationships. And it's just teaching me that my deepest mastery comes from creating that warm, safe space where someone feels like they're sitting by a cozy fire being handed a plate of food. So they can finally relax enough to go into the harder stuff, right? The deeper stuff, the stuff that requires, that structure. So it's very different from that clinical, maybe sterile approach we've been conditioned to expect, right? You guys understand like Western medicine, right? Um, and which really just like treats symptoms like mechanical problems to fix rather than messages from a body that's trying to communicate something deeper. It's this like identify the problem, eliminate the problem mentality that completely bypasses the wisdom of why the body created that pattern in the first place. And this is where something like castor oil packs becomes so beautiful. I actually did a podcast on castor oil packs 3 years ago, and it was from a much more educational, maybe even we can say clinical perspective. So if you want to check that out, definitely do so because you're going to learn a lot. But now I'm really seeing castor oil packs like how, like the other day, I just was doing mine and I slept with it on, and I just like, it feels like this nurturing hug, like this gentle, effective way to shift our terrain without force. Like, to know that it's there supporting me, to help prepare the body to release, to let go. So, for example, I hear this a lot in my practice. People who have been constipated their whole life. It's like a thing, you guys. Um and to me, this is like, okay, what are you holding on to? What is it that you cannot let go of, right? Like that's a very visceral thing I see when I hear that story. And so a lot of times to try to, deal with this constipation issue, they have gone about all these ways of like trying to force the bowel to open, right? They're given agents, for example, that force the bowel to open. So they get the movement out, right? Like that. It's like constipation. Okay, obviously we have to get poop out of the body. So it's that whole, trying to fix a problem kind of situation, right? So they maybe take something like Cascara sagrada or senna or magnesium oxide or coffee enemas, or the list could go on. But then they become dependent on these things, and it doesn't actually alleviate the issue. It's like forcing the body into submission without teaching it that it's safe to let go. And, maybe those muscles are tight for a reason. Maybe there's something in the physiology that's been shut down. Maybe it's connected to something psycho-emotional. And when we use forcing agents, we're not teaching the body how to let go or how to return natural motility. We're just overriding its protective mechanisms. Um, and that's how I'm seeing castor oil packs, more from this lens, right? They're working with the body's innate wisdom, not against it. You're literally placing this warm, oil-soaked cloth over your abdomen. You can put it other places too. And just holding space, a term that I don't always love, but in this case, it's very appropriate. You're not forcing anything to happen. You're creating the conditions where the body feels safe enough to soften, to release, to remember its natural rhythm. And the castor oil itself has this incredible ability to penetrate deep into the tissues to increase circulation and lymphatic flow. But energetically, what you're doing is anointing that sacred space. Like if it's your belly, for example, like for women, it's our womb area as well, our digestive center, right? Like our solar plexus, like the core of who we are. And, it's an ancient oil, right? Like it's been around for a really long time, called Palma Christi, or the palm of Christ. So essentially, you're blessing your body instead of battling it, right? And so here's what I find so beautiful. When someone, you know, either they're laying there or they're just relaxing and they've got this castor oil pack, hopefully breathing, like maybe attentive to their breath, hopefully feeling held, maybe warm, because you can put some warmth on it as well. This is when the real healing happens, right? Not because we forced something open, but because we created enough safety for the body to remember, oh, I can let go, or maybe I can trust this process, right? And it can teach the nervous system that release doesn't have to be violent or forced. It can be gentle, it can be supported, it can feel good, right? And that's a lesson that ripples out into every area of someone's life, not just their bowel movements. And I think this is what we're missing in so much of healthcare. We've forgotten that the body is always trying to heal itself, always trying to find balance, always trying to protect us. Our job isn't to force it into submission. It's to create the conditions where the natural healing can unfold. And here's the thing, right? Like, this is the imbalance we're seeing in, I'm air quoting right now, Lydia's air quoting, healthcare. Oh my goodness. I went on and on about this years ago in my medical gaslighting episode, if you want to check that out. But anyways, it's showing up everywhere, right? We're collectively out of balance between these masculine and feminine archetypal energies, right? We've swung so far into the forcing, the pushing, the hustle harder, the drive, the build structures and keep building structures and keep, driving. And right, like it's this mentality that has gone on for so long. And we've really lost touch with the receptive, the intuitive, the allowing. And I see this with so many of the women that I work with. They're trying to do like 800 things, like forcing themselves through intense protocols, approaching their own healing from this place of force. And it's almost like it can feel like self-punishment, quite frankly, right? Um, anyways, it's kind of like this trying to muscle our way into wellness, right? And the body eventually gets just so exhausted from that. And when it does, it's really trying to tell us something much bigger than we realize. But what if healing looked different, right? What if instead of another thing to force yourself through, it became this gentle return home to your body? And what if instead of fighting your symptoms, you learned to listen to what they're trying to tell you? And honestly, this is the collective healing we all need, right? Remembering that true strength includes softness, that real power includes receptivity, that lasting change happens when we feel safe enough to let our guard down. And this is actually how I've structured my Mineral Foundations course, which is separate from my one-on-one client work. I wanted to lay a foundation starting with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That first layer is safety and stability. Like you would need both masculine and feminine presence in the home, like a mother and father taking care of things, nurturing and providing for you. Both need to be present, right? And I feel like people are approaching minerals even completely out of context of this like relational dynamic. It becomes very easy to try to force or overdo or, miss the boat entirely on how we approach our mineral foundation, which is what we build everything else upon. So I've been working on this whole lens and framework in that particular course for you. And because, I have to, you know, help us all come back to center is really my goal, right? Because the pendulum has swung too far in one direction. We don't want it to swing too far in the other. So I'm finishing up some of the lessons soon. Most, most of the lessons are already available. There's just a couple more that I'm working on. So it is available to jump into right now, dive into what's already there. It's a pay what you value. So if that sounds like something you would like to get into, look for the link in the show notes there. And then for people who want deeper support and really appreciate this approach that I'm talking about and taking, I have 8 spots for new clients in August in my minerals and microbes package. So this is all about seeing your inner terrain as the living ecosystem it truly is. I use 2 functional tests. I use the hair tissue mineral analysis, the biome effects, which is a very comprehensive genome sequencing test to look at what's going on in your microbiome. And this is to really get a clear picture of how your body has had to adapt. And more importantly, how we can gently support it back to resiliency. It's not about battling your symptoms or forcing your body into submission. It's about understanding the brilliant ways your body has adapted and to start to create the conditions where it feels safe to return to its natural state of balance, right? Your minerals, your microbes, they're like the soil of your ecosystem. They're like that intricate web of relationships. And when we see them together, we get a really complete picture of your current unique terrain. So if this resonates with you and you're ready to approach your healing from this place of curiosity rather than force, you can find all the details for that program in the show notes below. And speaking of this collective healing we need, I'm excited to share that I have a whole series coming to finish out the summer season. I'm going to go beyond the root cause paradigm that's keeping so many people stuck and diving into what I call terrain restoration. Because, here's what I'm saying. People are chasing root causes while their cellular foundation is compromised. They're trying to plant seeds in, like, let's call it poisoned soil if you want to strike a chord there, right? Like, we're going to explore how your biography literally becomes your biology and how to think about healing through the lens of your whole wellness ecosystem. And yes, I'm also going to dive into mold and mycotoxins, how they can, like, kind of steal your minerals, if you will, and just really disrupt everything from your liver function to your menstrual cycle. But we're going to talk about this from the psycho-emotional perspective as well. Like, why are we here? Why are we collectively here right now with mold being such this prevalent issue, right? I'm excited. I can't wait to dive in. It's going to be a beautiful weaving of that deeper conceptual framework with practical applications, like the perfect bridge between where modern wellness is now and that, like, ancient wisdom, or, like, right, returning to nature's ways that we're all seeking to. Well, I don't know if we're all seeking to return to, but I think that we need to. And I'm really looking forward to diving deeper into these themes with you all. So I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And I will talk to you all soon.